Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to be cutting through some of the noise around a hormone that's, well, it's getting a lot of attention in reproductive health circles, DHEA.
That's right.
Our mission here, really, is to pull out the core insights from some specific research. We want to help you understand, what DHEA is, why people are talking about it, and, importantly, what the science might suggest about its potential for fertility.
Especially for those facing certain challenges.
Exactly.
And our focus today, it's drawn pretty directly from research excerpts looking hard at DHEA's effect on ovarian reserve and actual fertility outcomes. We're really zoning in on work from Dr. Norbert Gleicher and his team.
At the Center for Human Reproduction, yeah.
Right, CHR. The goal is basically to distill the key takeaways from that material for you.
So look, if you're interested in the science behind maybe improving fertility or just optimizing reproductive health generally, this deep dive should give you a pretty good shortcut to understanding this naturally occurring compound and the compelling research around it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with the fundamentals. Let's just break down what is DHEA.
Good place to start.
It stands for dehydroepiandrosterone. Quite a mouthful.
It is.
But it's a steroid hormone your body makes naturally. The real significance, though, seems to be its role as like a precursor. Think of it as the raw material your body uses to make other key sex hormones.
Yeah, like testosterone and estrogen. And that precursor role, that's really critical to understand. It's not just floating around. It's a fundamental building block.
A building block, okay.
Which sort of sets the stage for why it's so involved in, reproductive functions.
Right. So let's pivot then. What specific fertility challenges does DHEA seem to potentially help with based on this research?
We're mainly looking at conditions like diminished ovarian reserve DOR and also premature ovarian aging, POA.
Okay, DOR and POA.
Yeah. And women with DOR, they often face real difficulties getting pregnant. It's often down to fewer eggs, but also potentially lower quality embryos.
Especially problematic during IVF, I imagine.
Exactly. That's where it really shows up. And what's fascinating in the research is just how directly these conditions hit fertility outcomes.
Right.
When egg quantity and quality are down, it's a major hurdle. It really highlights why there's such a need for supportive interventions.
Okay, so this brings us to the core research we mentioned, Dr. Gleicher's work at CHR. It seems to point pretty strongly towards DHEA potentially enhancing ovarian reserve in women with these conditions, DOR or POA. This is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah, it does. And the proposed mechanism, how they think it works, offers a lot of insight.
So how do they think it works?
Well, as you said, DHEA helps the body produce androgens like testosterone. And these androgens, they're actually vital for the very early stages of follicle development in the ovaries.
Okay, so it boosts those necessary androgens.
Basically, yeah. The theory is that by supplementing with DHEA, you might create a healthier, more supportive environment right there in the ovary for the developing follicles. Better energy, better cell health for the egg itself.
Which could lead to more eggs, better eggs.
Potentially both. Improvements in the quantity of eggs they can retrieve, but maybe more importantly, improvements in their quality.
Okay, and quality is key. So let's talk about the specific benefits they actually observed in these studies. What did they find?
Well, they reported some pretty significant things, increases in both the number of eggs and embryos they got during IVF cycles.
More chances, basically.
More chances, yes. But beyond just the numbers, they also saw signs of improved egg and embryo quality.
And what does that translate to, practically speaking, better quality means?
That's the crucial bit. It's not just about volume. Better quality often implies better chromosomal integrity. Think of it like improving the egg's internal blueprint.
Ah, okay.
Which directly addresses a major reason for failed implantation or early pregnancy loss. So potentially it increases the chances of a successful ongoing pregnancy.
Makes sense.
And they did observe higher clinical pregnancy rates in their IVF patients using DHEA, and importantly, lower miscarriage rates too.
Lower miscarriages, that's huge.
It is, and they attributed that directly to the improved embryo quality. So if you connect that to the bigger picture, these benefits could mean a lot for someone's fertility journey.
Right.
Improving egg and embryo quality isn't just about getting pregnant. It's about increasing the odds of a healthy pregnancy and a healthy baby. It shifts the focus towards a viable outcome.
So if we pull all these threads together,
yeah,
what's the overall picture of DHEA's role here? It sounds like it acts as a kind of supportive, maybe even rejuvenating agent for the ovaries?
That seems to be the implication, yes. Especially, it seems, in women who might have lower androgen levels to begin with. It helps support healthier follicle development, which leads to better outcomes down the line.
Okay. Which naturally leads to the question, who is this actually recommended for based on these sources? Is it for everyone?
Good question. No, it's typically suggested more specifically, primarily for women diagnosed with diminished ovarian reserve or premature ovarian aging.
The DR and POA groups we mentioned.
Exactly. And often, particularly those within that group who also show low levels of DHEAS, that's the sulfate form, usually measured in blood tests, or low testosterone.
Okay, so there's often a blood test involved.
Usually, yes, to check those baseline levels. It's also specifically mentioned as potentially beneficial for women over 40 who are undergoing IVF.
And what about dosage? Is there a standard amount?
The typical dose mentioned in this research is 75 milligrams per day,
75.
usually split up, taken as 25 milligrams 3 times a day. And the specific dosing and targeting, it reflects a growing understanding of how DHEA seems to work best within the body for these purposes.
Right, it's not just a general supplement.
No, it's quite targeted based on the research.
Okay, so as we start to wrap up this deep dive, the takeaway seems to be that DHEA, this hormone our bodies make naturally, shows, well, significant promise, especially for enhancing ovarian reserve and improving fertility outcomes in women facing specific challenges like DOR or POA.
Yeah, Dr. Gleischer's research certainly highlights that potential quite strongly.
And we've touched on those key potential benefits. Maybe more eggs in embryos, better quality ones, higher pregnancy rates in IVF, and crucially, potentially lower miscarriage rates.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? I think understanding the nuances of compounds like DHEA, especially when backed by solid research like this, it offers a really valuable perspective.
It's empowering knowledge, right?
Exactly. It's about being informed about these emerging pathways for potentially optimizing reproductive health.
Indeed. And maybe a final thought to leave you with. Just consider how our understanding of hormones and, their incredibly intricate roles is constantly evolving.
It really is.
It keeps opening up new avenues for supporting, maybe even enhancing, our natural biological processes. This isn't just about DHEA, really. It's about this broader picture, this exciting frontier of reproductive science and how subtle interventions might make a difference. Something to think about.